Okay, guys. So I want to talk about this because it's a bit of an interesting topic, but let's jump into it. Some of you may hope so. There's actually going to be 2 videos today. Plus, there's probably going to be a video later tonight. Enjoy, because apparently I can't get a weekend off without someone getting in the shit. But regardless, so yeah, guys, we're going to talk about this. The next video is obviously going to be talking about Tommy Robinson, and then I'm gonna go and have a life. But regardless, let's just jump straight into it. So Avi Yemini is an Australian Jew, and I don't mean that as a racial slur, who is a conservative. He is very engaged in the political sphere. Some of you may know him because of the incidents with him recently, where Comedy Central tried to do an interview with it, tried to cut it all up and try and make him look bad. The problem was that Avi actually went through and actually recorded it. Whoopsie. And at the end of the day released the whole video and kind of blew the lid off him. He then went to America, where the Comedy Central claimed that he was going to attack them or some shit. And he basically got deported back to Australia. There's been a lot of controversy around Avi, and to say that he doesn't like the attention is probably an understatement. Now, look, at the end of the day, as for Avi himself, look, I haven't met the guy. I don't know him from a bar of soap. Don't worry, guys, this is not going where you think it's probably going to go. But at the end of the day, does he like the attention? Sure. Does he like getting himself into all sorts of shit and staying in the spotlight? Sure. But in this situation, I'm going to defend him. Because at the end of the day, I think this is absolutely ridiculous. And pro-free speech here. So let's go through and let's talk about this. So Avi Yemini put up a tweet, was on the 2nd of May, where he said, "I can't wait for POTUS to officially designate the Muslim Brotherhood as the terrorist organization they really are. Supporters like Annan will finally be locked up." So at the end of the day, what he's talking about there is the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, was talking about going through and designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. Now, they have had ties to terrorism in the past, and this is something that we've actually talked about. I think it was about a week or 2 ago, where we actually said that this is a good idea because the fact that this group is pretty far out there extreme for even some of the Muslims. But yeah, as for the whole designating them a terrorist organization, I fully support that. Anyway, so he went through and he's made this tweet. Now, obviously, the problem is that Twitter has gone through and banned him. So, on a daily basis, we receive an email from Twitter saying, "We've received a complaint regarding your account, Israeli Avi, the following content. But every email ended with, 'We have investigated the report content and could not find any violations of Twitter rules or applicable law. Accordingly, we have not taken any action.'" So they've gone through and someone's obviously been bombarding this tweet, just constantly reporting this tweet. Seems like there was a whole group of them doing it. And every time Twitter has turned around and said, "We can't find a problem with this tweet, we're not taking any action." Well, until yesterday. And I did see this when it came through. And I was going to quote on it last night, but I decided to wait till this morning, so enjoy. But yeah, they temporarily limited some of your account features, Avi Yemini. What happened? We've determined that you have violated the Twitter rules, so we've temporarily limited some of your account features. While in this state, you can still browse Twitter, but you'll be limited to only sending direct messages to your followers, no tweets, retweets, or likes. Your account will be restored to full function in 6 days and 22 hours. So we've temporarily limited some of your account features. What happened? Twitter have determined the account violated the Twitter rules, specifically for violating the rules against hateful conduct. Okay. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the belief, race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual origin, gender, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease, or anything else that Twitter can possibly think of to ban some conservatives off their platform. Now, they've gone through and they've tweeted and they've linked the tweet. I can't wait for POTUS to officially designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. They really are. Supporters like Ian will be finally locked up. This is the same tweet that they said up here is that could not identify any violations of the Twitter rules. So that's interesting. So we can't find any violation of the Twitter rules, and then somehow from pressure, presumably from the Democratic side, which is what I'm presuming it is, they've gone through and blocked his account. But didn't you say that there was no problem with the tweet? Didn't you say a few days ago that you couldn't find a problem with it? Literally here. We've investigated and reported the content and could not identify any violations of Twitter rules. Yet you still banned or locked or suspended his account temporarily. That is interesting. So apparently the Muslim Brotherhood is considered a race. Silly me for assuming they were just an organization, and a terrorist one at that. So look, at the end of the day, what do I think has happened? Okay. I think what's happened is that this tweet has been bombarded to Twitter and has been bombarded and mass flagged and mass reported. I think that Twitter has gone through, Twitter Safety Council, whatever it is, has said, no, there's nothing wrong with this tweet. But I think then someone higher up in the Democratic Party, maybe Ilhan herself, whatever it may be, has gone through and said to Jack or someone from Twitter, can you please have a look at this personally for me? I find this offensive, or whatever it may be, they've said. And then the higher ups at Twitter have overruled the Trust and Safety Council. That is why we're getting a conflict of them turning around saying, for example, nothing wrong with this tweet, but then literally a couple of days later saying, you violated our rules, we're now banning you for 7 days, or whatever it may be. That is what I think has happened. Now look, at the end of the day, do I find this disgusting? Yeah, I do. Look, do I think Avi is a bit of a loudmouth? Sure. He is. Anybody who says he's not is full of it. But at the end of the day, I don't see anything wrong with what he said. Obviously, I come from a pro-freedom of speech angle from everything. And even if I was to go through and to make exceptions for hate speech and everything like that like the left want to, I do not see him actually doing that in this article, in this post. What he has simply said is that he's waiting for the president to officially designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. They really are. Well, is that factually inaccurate? No. That is actually factually true. They have links to terrorism. Is the President of the United States going through and actually considering putting them down as a terrorist organization? Big surprise, he is. Supporters like Ilhan, does she support the Muslim Brotherhood? Yes, she does. So, and obviously I think at the end of the day, if this tweet was more about him lying, taking someone out of context or slander or whatever, they would be offering to sue him. And as far as I know, he hasn't had any of that. So look, at the end of the day, look, I mightn't necessarily always agree with Avi, but in this situation, I really do think that he is getting the pointy end of the stick here, so to speak. I think there are more politics involved in this. I think this is once again the Democratic Party or someone higher up in the Democratic political party or the Muslim Brotherhood or someone throwing their weight around and trying to get Twitter to ban someone because me anti-Semitism. And let's face it, the Muslims and the Jews have a bit of a history, to say the least. So am I surprised that the Muslim Brotherhood took offense to this? No. At the end of the day, he's proudly got, the Jewish flag in his Twitter line, like in his name. So no, they knew exactly who it was. And I think this is just a way of them to going after someone who they don't particularly like because of his different opinions, different religious views, maybe. And I would say that I think this comes I think this comes from Ilhan herself or someone in her political group. That would be my impression of it. But yeah, I really do think Twitter should unsuspend Avi, maybe even make an apology. And I think this whole censorship thing is really getting out of control. It really is. Now you can't even go through and make posts like this without apparently triggering someone from Twitter to go through and ban your account. And we just saw it recently now, even quoting InfoWars and not being critical of them is enough to get you banned from Instagram and Facebook. So no longer is it just the fact that you're bad, but whoever supports you is bad. We're going through the whole, let's not just ban someone now because we don't like them. Let's also ban their followers or their supporters because we mightn't like them too. It's guilty by association. So, what's next? Is it they're going to start doing that to Avi Yemini? They're going to ban me now because I support his right to say this? Or vice versa? What about someone on the left, for example? Louis Farrakhan. Are they going to start banning all his supporters? The people that quote him who aren't critical? Seriously doubt it. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Evie, if you see this, mate, good luck. I hope you get your Twitter account back. But look, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.